At night they'd bathe the world in a gentle ethereal glow, turning midnight into twilight and making the darkness feel less lonely. Stars would struggle to compete with this luminous band, forever altering our constellations and the way we navigate the night. Children would grow up tracing the great arch, weaving it into their stories and dreams, their imagination, inspiring new forms of creativity and meaning. The sky would become the main event, a dynamic, awe-inspiring show for all of humanity, uniting us in shared wonder. How could it not? The rings would be the most magnificent and humbling feature of our home planet, a celestial masterpiece for all to see. Not all ring systems are created equal. If Earth had a wide, dense system like Saturn's, the rings would be a sprawling band. So vast you might not see the top and bottom at once. Multiple bands, separated by dark gaps, would create a celestial tapestry of light and shadow. Each band could have its own subtle color, painting the sky with whites, grays, and pinks. A narrow ring system like Uranus's would appear as fine, sharp lines, a source of light. The tilt of the rings would add seasonal variation, making the arch rise and fall throughout the year. During equinoxes, the rings would appear as a razor-thin, impossibly bright line, edge-on to the sun. A ring system would need to be within the Roche limit, about 11,000 miles from Earth's center. This proximity would make the rings enormous in our sky, a dominant and spectacular feature. Governed by the laws of celestial mechanics, the rings would be a constant presence in our lives. They would redefine our sense of place in the universe. Your view of the rings would depend on where you live, shaping the sky in ways both familiar and utterly new. At the equator, the rings would appear as a brilliant straight line, slicing the sky in two, rising and setting vertically, always overhead, a constant celestial presence. At noon, this band would dazzle with reflected sunlight, casting shimmering patterns on the ground. At night, it would outshine the Milky Way, dominating the darkness with its radiant glow. In mid-latitudes, the rings would form a majestic arch, tilted toward the horizon depending on your hemisphere, curving gracefully above city skylines and countryside alike. The higher your latitude, the lower the arch would appear, stretching closer to the horizon and serving as a natural compass, always pointing north or south. At the poles, the rings would be a low, shimmering glow on the horizon, a luminous haze encircling the landscape, never rising high, but always present, painting the ice and snow with subtle color. During polar night, this would create perpetual twilight, a world of subtle, ethereal brightness where darkness never fully falls, and the sky glows with a mysterious light. Famous landmarks would be transformed, the pyramids standing beneath a cosmic bridge, Paris bathed in ring light, every monument gaining a new celestial backdrop. Rio's Christ the Redeemer would seem to reach for the celestial band, its silhouette forever framed by the rings above. Every photograph, every iconic view would be redefined, as the rings become a part of our collective memory and imagination. The rings would become as fundamental to Earth's identity as its oceans and clouds, visible from space as a breathtaking band encircling our world. They would be a global landmark, instantly recognizable from anywhere on the planet, uniting continents and cultures under a single spectacular sky. Our sense of direction, wonder, and belonging would be forever changed, as every gaze upward connects us to something greater. The rings would unite humanity under a shared sky, inspiring awe and curiosity in every generation. They would be woven into the fabric of our daily lives, a constant reminder of the beauty and mystery that surrounds us all. The daily cycle of light and dark would be rewritten. Sunrise and sunset would become even more spectacular as the rings caught the sun's light before and after it appeared. Night would never be truly dark again. The ring shine would be bright enough to read by. Nocturnal animals would adapt to a world without true darkness, changing entire ecosystems. The rings would cast their own shadows, and for a few hours around midnight, they'd pass through Earth's shadow, a nightly eclipse. For that brief period, the ring shine would vanish, revealing the stars and Milky Way. Twice a year during equinoxes, the sun would align with the rings, making them appear as a thin, intense line. The shadow of the rings would sweep across the planet, bringing sudden twilight in the middle of the day. This shadow season would be a predictable, awe-inspiring event. The interplay of sunlight and ring shine would create a world of shifting, layered light. Our sense of time and rhythm would be shaped by these celestial cycles. The rings would be a clock, a calendar, and a spectacle all in one. They would make every day and night extraordinary. Weather would take on a new dimension under the rings. Thunderstorms would flash beneath their glow, lightning momentarily outshining the celestial arch. Rainbows would compete with the permanent arc above, and new phenomena, like ring dogs or halos, would become common. During equinoxes, the sweeping shadow of the rings would cause temperature drops, creating unique weather patterns. Near the equator, daily shadowfall would shape routines, from farming to school hours. Cities would glow with a blend of artificial and ring light, reducing the need for streetlights and cutting light pollution. Architecture would change, with skylights and observation decks designed for the best ring views. Public spaces would come alive at night, illuminated by the natural glow above. Festivals would celebrate the rings, global holidays marking the shadow season and the brightest nights. These celestial events would unite people, giving humanity a shared rhythm and spectacle. The rings would be a unifying feature for a divided world. Human culture would be inseparable from the rings. Our oldest myths would center on the Great Arch. Was it a bridge, a river, or a cosmic serpent? Every culture would have its own stories, gods, and legends inspired by the rings. Art, literature, and music would be filled with their imagery. Odes to ring shine, stories set under the arch, symphonies echoing their eclipses. Our language would evolve, with words like ring shine, shadowfall, and archrise becoming everyday terms. We'd name the bands and gaps, embedding the rings in our vocabulary and thought. A clear, empty sky might seem barren to us. Beauty would mean a sky graced by the arch. The rings would be a source of comfort and wonder, a constant in a chaotic world. They would define our sense of home and uniqueness in the cosmos. The rings would be the ultimate symbol of our planet's beauty. The rings would have accelerated astronomy, ancient scientists mapping their bands, tracking shadows, and learning gravity's secrets. Imagine the earliest skywatchers, their curiosity ignited by the ever-present arcs above, recording the shifting patterns and using them to predict the seasons and even eclipses. Newton might have watched the rings, not just falling apples, to unlock the laws of motion. The constant movement and structure of the rings could have inspired new questions about force, inertia, and the nature of orbits, pushing scientific discovery forward. The space race could have started sooner, driven by the urge to explore the rings up close. The dream of reaching and studying these celestial bands might have united nations in a quest for knowledge, making space travel a global priority. Daily life would follow the rhythm of the ring's shadow, a global clock in the sky. People everywhere would mark time by the shifting bands of light and shadow, shaping rituals, work, and celebrations around their movement. Satellites and space travel would be more complex, with spacecraft navigating dangerous fields of ice and rock. Engineers would need to invent new shielding and guidance systems, and every mission would require careful planning to avoid the ever-shifting debris. Low Earth orbit would be hazardous, requiring new technology and strategy. The presence of the rings would force us to rethink how we build, launch, and protect our satellites, making space a more challenging but fascinating frontier. On Earth, the rings would be the ultimate navigational tool. Look up, and you'd know your direction. Travelers and explorers would rely on the rings as a constant visible guide, shaping the way we move across land and sea. Explorers and sailors would have used the arch to cross oceans and deserts with confidence. The rings would serve as a celestial compass, guiding journeys and inspiring legends in every culture. The rings would have connected the world long before modern technology. Shared stories and myths about the rings would weave a common thread through humanity, linking distant peoples under the same sky. Living on a ringed Earth would change everything. Our light, our stories, our science, and our sense of place. Every sunrise and sunset would be transformed, painting the sky with colors and shadows never seen before. We'd be citizens of a world crowned by cosmic beauty, always reminded of our place in the universe. The rings would inspire art, music, and wonder, shaping our culture in ways we can only imagine. The sky would be alive, not empty, a shimmering crown above us all. Night after night the rings would glow, a reminder of the mysteries still waiting to be discovered. We would know every day that we lived in a truly special place, a planet marked by wonder, where the universe's beauty is always within sight.